In Unit 2b3, I'll talk about some interviewing tips and things you need to know to be able to conduct an interview. First of all, interview questions are always written in advance. You don't do an interview and make up the questions on the fly. You've done your research and written out those questions much before the interview as part of your preparation. All questions are open-ended, and I'll teach you more how to do interview questions in another unit, but we don't ever ask questions that could be answered with a yes or a no in an interview, mostly open-ended questions. Pick an appropriate location. A lot of young people forget to think about what's behind your subject when you're interviewing them. When you're interviewing someone, it should be in front of something that seems appropriate for that interview. If you're interviewing a cook, interview them in a kitchen. If you're interviewing someone about their life, interview them in their living room. If it's about their job, interview them at the workplace, for instance. Try to establish rapport. Rapport just means that your interviewer trusts you. They think that you're someone who's talking to them and friendly and open and inviting and listening to them, and they want to say really interesting things to you because you have that rapport, that feeling of mutual trust. Hard to establish that. Don't ever talk over an interviewee. Don't interrupt or talk at the same time they're talking, because in the audio channel, we might not be able to remove your words from their words later, and that can cause a problem when we're editing. So allow for silence. Let them really speak what it is that they've got to say. Don't be in a rush to cut them off. Instead, it's even okay to spend some time and hang back and just wait. Sometimes if you give someone time, they'll continue to talk when it seems like they were finished talking about a subject. But if you just give them time, they'll keep talking, and that's usually a good thing. Follow-up questions are so important. Now, you can't script out a follow-up question in advance because you don't know what they're going to say, but you've got to listen carefully during an interview so that you're ready to ask an intelligent, thoughtful question about something they just said. The most obvious kind of follow-up question is, can you explain that a little bit more? Or give me more information about that, or I'm not quite sure I get this. Try to get them to just keep on explaining the idea that they were talking about so that you can get a more full answer. Another good follow-up question is, oh, tell me, how did that make you feel? Anything that's going to get them to keep talking is going to be helpful during an interview. And the last thing is to save your hardest questions for last. You don't want to hit your interviewee over the head with a difficult question right off the top. That won't work towards establishing rapport. No, instead, save those most difficult questions for the last part of the interview.